Hello everyone and welcome to 15 tips and tricks you can use in Sea of Thieves. I've made these videos since Sea of Thieves have just come out on Steam and many new people have come and started playing the game. If you haven't already, make sure to go follow my Twitch, link is in description. Tip number 1, make sure to stock up your ship on resources. As soon as you spawn into a game of Sea of Thieves, make sure to run around searching through all the wooden barrels on the outpost and drop them off in the barrels on your ship. You're going to need to do this every time you spawn into a game. On the rare chance I get into an open crew, I always see the ship running low on resources. That's because they haven't stocked up. This will make sailing 10 times more easier, trust me. Tip number 2, make sure to fish for overheals. If you do not know what overheals are a type of food like cooked fish that when you eat them, it produces a second bar of health. This is super useful when you're in combat and have low health. The extra bar of overheals will always regenerate when you take damage. You're going to need this when in combat. Tip number 3, sword lunging. Sword lunging is a combat tip that is really useful when in close combat with skeletons or players that you might come across. Sword lunging consists of holding the block button and your attack button at the same time. This causes your player to lunge forward, creating damage to whoever is standing in front of you. If you get good at it, try jumping while timing it perfectly with the lunge. You can go super far with this. Tip number 4, turn off your lanterns on the ships. The number of times I've gone to an open crew and all the lanterns are running in dark, you stick out like a sore thumb in the seas. If you want to be noticed, by all means leave them on, but if you don't, I would suggest you turn them off. Tip number 5, do not put the Reaper's flag up on your ship. There are a lot of flag customs in Sea of Thieves, and one of them is called the Reaper's flag. If you put it on, every player in the game will be able to see if they look at their map. If you want to do some PvP, then the Reaper's flag might be just for you, but if you don't, then I would suggest not putting it on and staying far away from it. Tip number 6, keybinds. When you are new to Sea of Thieves, make sure to set keybinds up to the items you are mainly using. My main items that I use are the compass, bucket, spyglass and food, but experiment with some of the keybinds and see what feels right to you. Tip number 7, if you're fallen off your ship or your ship is sunk, make sure to look out for a blue beacon in the ocean so you can return back to your ship. Tip number 8, don't go in the Red Sea. The Red Sea is the border that goes around the Sea of Thieves map. If you adventure too far, you will experience this, so make sure to stay within the boundaries. Tip number 9, angling sails. Make sure to angle the sails in the direction that the wind is going. As seen in the footage, I angle the sails to the right so I can get the maximum speed when sailing. Tip number 10, using a bucket is sick as a weapon. If you drink too much grog, you can throw up in a bucket which can be used to blind enemies when fighting. Just make sure not to get any yourself. Tip number 11, anchor turning. This tip is one of the most useful tips to use. To do an anchor turn, either turn the wheel to the left or right as shown in the footage and drop the anchor. Your ship will do a full 180 depending on the speed you are going. Tip number 12, tucking. If you end up boarding another person's ship, use your sleeping emote to tuck so they don't suspect you. You can use this to your advantage so you can surprise them when they don't suspect a thing. I will do a video on how to tuck and which locations to tuck in, but first, just use these 2 clips to your advantage. Tip number 13, don't suicide keg. If you suicide keg, you won't have the chance to defend the holes that you're blown into the ship. It's worth sticking around and defending the broken holes. If you do a suicide keg, don't expect them to be sunk if you return. Tip number 14, wallbanging. If you didn't know, in Sea of Thieves you can be able to shoot through wooden walls as seen in the footage here. If an enemy is standing on the other side, you will be able to hit them and take majority of their damage. Tip number 15, phasing. If you didn't know, you have the ability to fade through the wall on the sloop. If you stand near the ammo crate, you have the option to climb the ladder. This is amazing when in combat. Use this to your advantage. Bonus tip 1, speed carrying. If you want to transport things from a long distance or want to get somewhere fast, use your drop button and your pickup button so you can speed carry as shown in the footage. This is super handy when you are doing a voyage. Bonus tip 2, rowboats. If you haven't known already, you can store a rowboat on the back of a sloop, brigantine or galleon. This is super useful if you sink, so if you do see one, make sure to store it on the back of your ship, as you may sink. Thanks so much for sticking around and watching to the end of this video. Make sure to go use these tips and tricks, they are super helpful, trust me. Make sure to go follow my Twitch, link is in the description, and yeah, we recently just hit 40 subscribers on this channel, so thank you guys so much for the support, I really do appreciate it. 50 subs, here we come.